Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do that. Not right now. Not right now. This is kind of crazy. Guys, my laptop is actually not working. What is going on right now? Okay, Mark Levin on Megan Kelly. Okay, guys, this is the thing that I was actually thinking about. I was curious. I was questioning. I was thinking about it a lot. I was wondering actually that if Mark Levin actually had a micro penis. I don't really know. I mean, Megan Kelly is the one who actually accused Mark Levin of having low dick energy, having a micro penis. And it was because Mark Levin repeatedly attacked Megan Kelly without Megan Kelly even mentioning Mark Levin. I mean, he attacked her like hundreds of times via tweeting because that's what he is. He's like a Twitter warrior. He's like a keyboard warrior. So, MTG. So Margaret Taylor Greene actually joins Megyn Kelly in questioning Fox News host manhood as MAGA's Iran divide deepens. So conservatives exchange barbell insults. Yo, Wolfpack bro, how's this going? Yo, Abe Diaz, thank you, bro. Yeah, Jesus loves everybody, bro. He died for your sins. I believe in Islam. I'm a Muslim, but if that's what you believe, bro, thank you. Okay, what's your opinion on like Mark Levin? Are you guys aware of Mark Levin and like Megan Kelly? I mean, this is kind of like crazy thing going on right now. Like Megan Kelly actually made an accusation that Mark Levin has got a micro penis. He's got low dick energy. She has said that. And that's like a term on Twitter that's been trending on Twitter that Mark Levin actually has a small penis. But it's because Mark Levin has been repeatedly attacking Megan Kelly. So I'm just going to tell you about the back and forth that they had. I mean, Mark Levin is also one of the guys who was trying to control Donald Trump. He had his hands on Donald Trump. And many people actually believe that he's one of those guys who controlled Donald Trump. He died for our sin. What did we even do to him? I think what Christians actually believe is that, I mean, Jesus was the one actually. So humanity, I mean, the very nature of humanity is actually commit sins. That's what we do. We've never actually been gone to the level where we're kind of perfect. We are sinful creatures. That's what we do. And according to Christians, they believe that Jesus actually died so we could actually be free from any sort of punishment. So he took all the punishment upon himself. To be honest, I don't subscribe to that belief, but I would say that if it's coming from like a genuine place of honesty, then um, I would say for them it's a good belief for them. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene has lent her wholehearted support. And by the way, guys, I want to say one thing. These guys, Mark Levin, Marco Rubio, Ben Shapiro, all of those guys, they were all never Trumpers. Honestly, if you go back to like 2016, right, when Donald Trump was campaigning for the first time, these guys did not even believe in Donald Trump, and I don't know what they're trying to do now. How you doing, country crown mapper? You back, bro? How's it going? I'm gonna say hi to everyone. Hi, every viewers again. Hi, Wolfpack again. How hi, Spur King again. Everyone, hi. Okay, Margaret Taylor Greene actually says, I wholeheartedly support Megyn Kelly telling the world that Mark Levin has a micro penis. And then it is the most deserved insult, and I don't care if it's vulgar. Callum, Callum is saying you look like you run a scam called. I'm not Indian. I probably look like that. I probably do look like that, but I don't. I don't run a beer. At least I'm not gonna tell you, dude, because you might be my next target. I'm actually looking at the name, dude. I'm gonna find the details. Nate is saying now here, just liked and subscribe. Can you please ban me? New here, just like the subscribe. Dude, I can't be that bad, dude. Like you're accidentally subscribed to the channel. You asking me to ban you? I wouldn't do that, bro. I would never do that to my subscriber. I have special place for all of my subscribers. Um, it's the most deserved insult. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene is basically saying it's the most deserved insult, and I don't care if it's vulgar. And Trump's gigantic defense of Levin only enraged the base more. People are done. Mega destroyed by micropenis Mark Levin. Levin, a long-time Tehran hawk, began this exchange of insults with Kelly, country crown again, began the exchange of insults with Kelly Sunday by tweeting his disapproval of her latest statements of opposition to the conflict. Scam call center, find a boss. I am. I'm just gonna own it for the one last time. I'm just gonna own it because when you say fine about this, right? It kind of like it's giving a bit of respect to me, honestly. At least I'm good at something. Poor Megyn Kelly, he wrote on X, an emotionally unhinged, lewd, and petulant wreck. She's completely revealed and destroyed herself. She's everything people say she is, but much worse. Never intelligent, thoughtful, a substantive comment, utterly toxic. By the way, guys, do you guys follow the politics? Do you follow the American politics? Do you follow what's going on right now with Mark Levin and Megyn Kelly? And do you have any opinions on this, by the way? Do you have any opinions? Do you think what Donald Trump is doing right now, like the war with Iran, do you see any benefits in this? Do you think USA can actually be successful in that war? Do you think they can open the Strait of Hormuz? Do you think Trump had like a full strategy before he actually went there? Do you think he was ready for Iran to be closing the Strait of Hormuz? And how much role do you think the guys surrounding the Trump are actually playing in this? I did, dude. I've been scamming and I've scammed a lot of people. Like this is what I've been doing, and I don't miss. This is the thing with me. Kelly responded, micro penis Mark Levin thinks that he has a monopoly on lewd. He tweets about me obsessively in the crudest, nastiest terms possible. Literally more than some stalkers. I had harasses. He doesn't like it when women like me fight back because of his micro penis. Levin replied, busy Sunday morning for Megyn Kelly. She wakes up and has micro penis on her mind. It's kind of funny. Suffice to say, if it talks like a harlot and posts like a harlot, is well, the rest. Shalom, guys. Ask me some questions. Ask me some questions. I'm here to give you answers. By the way, President Donald Trump. Oh yes, it's open. It's open. My laptop is working now. It's unbelievable. My laptop is working. It's gonna be faster now. Should we discuss something else? By the way, people are down the online MAGA beef over the Iran war. Dude, MAGA is breaking, by the way. MAGA is completely broken right now. Like, there's people have split into like different groups. Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Dave Smith, they're going different ways. Tucker Carlson, and those guys are actually getting attacked by the Never Trumpers. So the Never Trumpers, guys like Mark Levin and all of those guys, they're attacking Tucker Carlson now. These Ted Cruz, they're attacking Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and all of those guys. So what is going on? What is happening with the MAGA, by the way? I don't even know what's right wing anymore. It's everything is kind of mixed right now. A civil war with the MAGA movement is getting more lewd by the day as prominent arriving. Where are we right now? Okay, but the war in Iran has caused a growing rift within the very movement Donald Trump created. Some of the most prominent and vocal figures that helped propel him to the Oval Office a second time have also been some of the most aggressive critics of his foreign policy, arguing it is not America first. Right wing firebrand and former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has often been leading the commentary against the president, which is kind of crazy. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene used to be the biggest supporter of Donald Trump, and now she is one of the biggest critical member of his. She's actually not even part of the party. She left it, but she's doing the most criticism right now. Should I ask like a question right now? Let me ask a question. Try it. Streamer or viewer? What is the question? Does Mark Levin have a micro P? Okay. Okay, that's my question. That's a question I'm asking, guys. Why isn't? Oh my god, I'm trying to move it up. I can't. A name. Yeah, you look like the type to be sitting on your own talking about American politics. Yes, yes, I'm talking about American politics, and I believe I can actually make a difference. All right, I don't have a lot of viewers right now, but I can actually make a difference because one day people will actually listen to what I'm saying. And even if I'm talking to one guy, even if I'm talking to two guys, and I can change their minds, I can enlighten them with something that they haven't heard before. I can give them a different take. I mean, that will change things in the long term. This is what I believe. I believe I can change things. Trump's gigantic defense of Levin only enraged the base more. People are done, she posted. I mean, why is Donald Trump actually defending Mark Levin like this? There has to be something behind this. I mean, this guy is one of the biggest Zionists. It totally means that Trump has been fully compromised. He's been fully controlled. And I think even the words that Trump is actually tweeting right now, if you look at Donald Trump's tweets, it doesn't look like Trump is the one actually writing it. It could also be that Mark Levin himself actually wrote the tweet for Donald Trump and he actually asked Donald Trump to post it. MAGA destroyed by micro penis Mark Levin. Sizing up the online situation, Levin actually declared these reprobates have nothing but lies and conspiracies and hate. Phallic attacks aside, Green and Kelly are not alone in their anti-war isolationist views. Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking about the Tucker Carlson. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, former Trump White House strategist Steve Bannon is another guy. I mean, he was a great friend of Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even know how he's still talking. And alt-right commentator Candace Owens have all launched their own scathing assessments on the U.S. launching billions of dollars of weaponry of Iran. I don't know why Steve Bannon is actually being critical of it. Maybe he knows because his name has appeared in the Epstein files, so he doesn't want to be the one actually supporting it. So he's criticizing it just to be in the good books right now. America's social media feeds have been littered with vitriol and name calling between the right wing commentators who support or oppose the military operation against the Iranian regime. What's your opinion on the America's military operation against the Iranian regime? Do you guys agree with this, or are you in the opposition right now? I find it to be very infuriating. Conservative podcaster Liz Weir told the ABC. She says the podcast wars are starting up problems for the future and that conservative commentators should be focused on trying to talk to the American people while debunking the lies that are coming from the mainstream media and from the left. If I were a Democrat right now, I would be like, guys, be quiet. Let them self destruct, she said. I mean, this is what's happening right now. Like conservatives are actually destroying themselves. I supported conservatives in 2024 because Trump campaigned for like the no foreign wars, no foreign intervention. Um, I don't have a problem with the immigration and stuff, but I guess if you can actually limit it to only the people who actually love the country and are coming legally, I guess I would appreciate that in some ways. And I think Trump actually did a great job in some of those regards. So that was good. But other than that, with the foreign wars, he completely U-turned on every single policy that he had. I mean, USA has gone to war with like 8 different countries within the span of the last 7 to 8 months, which is kind of crazy. Colin, ain't you immigrant? No offense. I am an immigrant, but I actually came via legal ways. I came via study visa, and I'm in UK, by the way. I'm not even in America, actually. And I came like a long time ago. No, what I am saying is that people should be allowed to come in legal ways, but we should be actually looking at who's coming into the country. So I'm not even against like the fully legal immigration. Like there's people who actually are literally in danger and they don't have a way. So those people actually have to come on the board. I'm not a big supporter of that, but I'm just saying there should be special regulation at least, right? And, if you look at America in the Biden administration, there was no surveillance of like who was coming into the country. Literally outside the border, right? There are millions of people, and obviously now I'm in this country. I want this country to be protected. Like when you're living in a country, you're supposed to love the country, right? You're supposed to love the country. You want to make sure that if someone is coming into your country, they knock the door. It's through like proper legal means. That's what we want to make sure. So even if somebody's fleeing their country and maybe they're not even coming through the legal ways, maybe they had to take like a different way. I think there should be like a proper checks, proper surveillance, proper questioning, proper investigation. There needs to be like a whole process that needs to get done. And with that, I thought Donald Trump was actually bringing something decent in 2024. That's what I thought. But when I looked at the ICE attacks, I was like, that was way too much. I mean, um, because they were actually carrying out the attacks on the people who were actually living in the country, like the actual um people who actually have the nationalities, some of those people, and also some of the people who didn't have the nationalities, who were actually immigrants, but like the legal immigrants. But even the way they were actually carrying out those processes, I didn't like it. But UK is kind of worse in a way, but I guess it's kind of it will get better. We are the thought leaders of the conservative movement. Mila Duke, we Israelis love you, the people of Iran. Which city in Iran are you from? I'm actually not from Iran, by the way. I'm not from Iran. I'm from Pakistan. I might have a bit of DNA from Iran. Um, the people of Iran. So Israelis actually love the people of Iran. And by the way, which people of Iran are you talking about? Like the actual civilians who hate the regime? Are those the people you're talking about? I was gonna have a field day during the World Cup. Not good. Dude, that's why I think most of the teams are not. You know how many people have actually canceled their tickets? Like 40,000 people have actually canceled their tickets. They don't want to come to the World Cup because it's not going to be like a safe place. And dude, even Iranian team, I think they don't want to play in America because that would be very dangerous. So they might actually be moving to Mexico. But yeah, what's your opinion on the ICE attacks? I don't agree with the ICE attacks because I just don't think it's feasible for USA to actually deport like 50 million people. That's what Donald Trump said, right? And most of the businesses actually stopped ICE from deporting people because they said the immigrants coming from other countries, they're actually doing the low paid jobs. And when they're doing the low paid job, that means you're paying them less. And if you're paying the nationals to actually do the same job, then you would need to pay them more. So it would not be beneficial for them to be doing this. So I don't think feasibly it's a possible thing to deport people. What I do think they should be doing is like the more surveillance of like the borders and the people coming into the country and have like a proper procedures and like the investigations of who's coming into the country. I think that would be a better way forward. And that's where we can some of the people can actually meet in the center as well, because Democrats policies like we should be letting everyone into the country, and then the conservative policies like we're even going to deport the people that are already living inside the country, right? But they came a few years back. But then how are we going to meet in the middle? Like the country is supposed to run smoothly, right? If one side is hating the other side, it's not going to be a smooth procedure. So I think the better way to actually meet in the middle is that, okay, we're going to have proper surveillance. We're going to have proper surveillance of people actually coming in. We need to have proper track records of them. And then they will have to go through a proper process. And then the case might actually get rejected if it's not convincing. Um, but at the same time, we wouldn't be carrying the attacks like the ICE is actually doing, which is making America actually look very bad. Okay, Miladuk is actually saying, from my perspective, I meant the brave people of Iran, not the criminal regime of the Islamic Republic. The people of Iran had a great king named Cyrus the Great. Oh, you talking about Cyrus the Great? Yeah, he was a great king, actually, Persian king. And we owe them a debt of gratitude. So, I mean, I have a very Shmuel Gardner saying hello from Israel. Hi, how you doing, Shmuel? You're right. I have a very sort of like complicated view on that thing, Miladuk. My personal belief is that Iran, even though Iranian regime is not good for the people inside, like they're pretty oppressive, and people living inside the country actually not happy about them. They're probably not even very friendly to the other sects, so they're like Shia dominated country, right? But at the same time, I don't think any foreign government should be doing the intervention within the country, because it's causing a lot of damage on this planet. And most of the countries have like a lot of strong weapons now. So we cannot afford to have like a world war. So with the regime change, I think Israel might have some other benefits that they were looking at. It wasn't even about the regime change. I think it could also be that Israel actually wants the greater Israel. And I don't want to be offensive to you guys, but I think Israel might have other intentions. And I know Benjamin Netanyahu is not even very popular among the people living inside Israel. So the civilians actually living inside Israel, they were protesting against Benjamin Netanyahu because they didn't agree with some of the policies. Like even the October 7 attack, right? There wasn't proper surveillance around the borders. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the attack. Like that was a terrible thing, but at the same time, there should have been proper. There should have been an investigation into like what happened, but they shut down all the investigations. Immigration is cool if you come to work and respect the country culture. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Colin. A lot in you could come to sponge on benefits, Sally, and you could experience for hostels. Okay, I want to have like a few rules about like the asylum seekers as well, right? So when people actually claim asylum, they're not even allowed to work and they get fed like a, it's not even a lot of money, but they do get paid some amount of money, right? And they're not even contributing to the country until their case actually gets passed, which takes like 12 months, sometimes 16 months, sometimes even more than that, which is not good for the productivity of the country. So why don't we make a rule that if somebody is coming to the country and they're actually in danger and they actually are claiming asylum because they're religiously oppressed, maybe there's war going on inside the country, for the refugees, let's say like Ukrainian refugees, or um if you're taking the Palestinian refugees, I'm just giving the example. In that case, what we should be doing is they should be allowed to work as soon as they come to the country. They should be allowed to work because then they can actually contribute to the society. Not popular. Look at the polls. Shmuel Gardner. So Benjamin Netanyahu is actually not popular. Nemro Finney saying, which country are you in? I'm in UK right now. I was born in Pakistan. Miladuk is saying, we asked Netanyahu to help the people of Iran because they helped us 2,500 years ago and freed us from captivity. Also, Israeli people living inside Israel actually asked Netanyahu to actually help. So people are on board. So most of the people in Israel actually are on board with the attack on Iran. But here's the thing, right? There's a lot of Iranian casualties as well. And if you're just going for the regime change, I don't think it's even going to be possible because they're saying that his son is even more hardline than him. So the new Khamenei is actually more hardline. I'm in London. So the new Khamenei is actually more hardline than his father. And not just that, Iranian government has been decentralized now. So no one person has actually got command over the whole country. Is decentralized into 31 generals, and each general has its own rules and regulations, and there's no communication between two generals. So they're just kind of running their own areas in the ways that they actually want to run. So there's no way that Israel or US are going to be able to change have the regime change. I don't think it's going to be possible. And Shah is not even that popular amongst the Iranian people, that Israel is actually trying to put, like Reza Shah Pahlavi. That's a guy who's actually living in France at the moment. I don't think he's very popular among the Iranian people. So even that's not going to be possible. Plus, Iran is actually fighting back, and that's causing a lot of damage in Israel, which is actually not helping them again. Taliban's mod me, I am Irish. Mod me, I'm Irish. Hey, how's it going, bro? Tala, yeah, I know what you're saying. Let me just do it. One sec. I've got you managing standard moderator or managing. Can manage blocked words and change chat modes. Can review and remove chat messages and hide or put users. To be honest, dude, I have never actually had a moderator on my YouTube, to be honest. I'm just gonna do a manage moderator. Okay, you're actually the mod right now, right? I mean, to be honest, I am fully in freedom of speech, so I don't really mind, to be honest, anyone. But yeah, just for the fun of it. How's it going anyway? I saw your channel, Tyler, by the way. Are you uploading a lot of UFC videos as well? Tyler, I'm good mod and being channel trust. I will only remove someone if you ever say okay, I can't even say that. Yeah, so yeah, so that's what it is. I mean, my opinion on that is that Iranian regime is quite oppressive, but at the same time, I don't sort of like agree with the foreign intervention. I guess from the American perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense because America is only taking a lot of damage. There's not much success that America has been able to achieve. Plus, I think it was second day when they dropped a Tomahawk missile, and that actually dropped on a girls' school where 150 girls actually died, and then it was like they didn't have an answer on why the missile was actually dropped on the school, because there was no target close to the school. It wouldn't have been by accident. America has got such high technology; they wouldn't do those such things by accident. And then Trump was kind of trying to hide it. He was just constantly saying that Iran is the one who actually did it. But then the video actually came out, and then they pushed Trump on that because it was quite clear that Tomahawk missile is not a generic missile. It's not the missile that other countries possess. It's only possessed by America. America is the only producer of the missile, and then the missile is actually bought by the UK and Australia, I think, but these are the only three countries that have that missile. Even Israel doesn't actually possess it, so there's no way Iran could have access to that missile. And then Donald Trump, even at the end, he didn't apologize for that. He kind of just dodged the question. So that's my personal review on that, by the way. But yeah, right now it just seems like MAGA is completely divided. We don't even know who is right wing, who is left wing. I mean, the guys who were like biggest Trump supporters, they're not supporting him anymore. Michelle, uh, Michelle Helen saying, "Wait, so are they so technologically advanced, like they can make a mistake, or are they needlessly taking damage?" No, when it comes to like dropping the missiles, I don't think they can actually make a mistake, right? When they're dropping the missile, it's not like the missile just came out of the airplane because they're dropping the missile through aircraft carriers. They wouldn't make a mistake like this. But when it actually comes to like needlessly taking damage, that's a different thing. This is intercepting. Intercepting a missile is not easy because when Iran is fighting missiles, right? When Iran is fighting missiles, they're fighting different type of missiles first of all, and they're fighting missiles in abundant amount. It's not easy to intercept a missile because when you're intercepting a missile, sometimes you're throwing two missiles to intercept one, so you're spending a lot of money as well. And every interceptor that they're using, it's like cost millions of dollars. And every missile that Iran is actually throwing, other than the ballistic missiles are a bit expensive, but when Iran is using their drones or like other missiles, they're literally $30,000. They're not even spending that much money, so they can actually make a lot of them. Whereas when America actually intercept, that cost a lot of money. So I think that's the thing that America is actually struggling with right now. I'm not contradicting myself, Michelle. Exactly, you're right. Even the Iranian regime is remarkably, they're not like Gaddafi, the Libyan leader who was captured, not like Saddam who went into hiding, not like Bashar al Assad. Yeah, this is the culture of Iran, right? Because the Persian Empire doesn't actually fall down easily. We've seen it for like thousands of years. Iranians always fight back. They always fight back. They've always done it. They've not been fully captured ever. I mean, there are empires that have actually invaded Iran, like the Ottoman Empire was able to do this. Roman Empire actually did it for a while, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Actually, some of the empires have been able to do it, but they have not been able to change all the culture and the values of Iran. Nobody's been able to do it. They still have the Persian language that's been going on for like a long, long time. Um, Iran choose to stand and face that. Even the criminal regime does not shows courage, just like the Iranian people. Yes, even though the regime is criminal, it's oppressive against the people, but they do show courage. That part I do respect. Sam is saying, dude, fix your lighting. Why are your room lights in the background? You should at least not have them in shot, perfectly facing them instead. Dude, I don't. They're actually facing that way. They're not even facing me, to be honest. I don't even know what's happening. By the way, I mean I can fix them tomorrow, but it looks like they're fine. Um, how many casualties had the U.S. suffered, dude? This is the thing, right, Michelle? Um, where how many casualties has the U.S. suffered according to U.S. or according to Iran or according to social media? So U.S. will probably say it's only like 20, but the lights are behind. The lights are behind. There's no other place. I can't just move the thing to a different place. That's not going to be possible. So according to Iran, it's a lot of casualties. It's 1,200, almost like 1,200 casualties. Dude, you know how many people actually die in Middle East? So they have attacked all the Middle East bases, and US has actually denied people dying over there. But what's happening is US is reporting their Navy SEALs actually dying from heart attack, dying from cancer disease, all of a sudden dying from pneumonia, all of those diseases. If you actually look at the news, why are they all of a sudden getting the heart attacks? Why are they all of a sudden getting those cancer diseases and all of this? So it's for sure that Iran is actually killing those people in those bases. They're dying, but US doesn't want to come as weak because they don't want to show the casualties like that and don't want to show that they're actually losing the war. So that's why they're doing it. Is that better? but then I'm gonna have to change my posture. Like that's gonna be a problem. Okay, so I mean that's the only problem that we're facing right now. But much better. Thanks, bro. Thanks. Okay, so I mean that's what I'm saying. So USA has actually conceded a lot of damage. Now the good thing about USA is that USA is very far. So geographically, USA is very lucky that they are so far that Iranian missiles do not even have the range to actually hit the USA itself. They cannot hit New York City. They cannot hit Miami. Their missiles don't have the range. And USA actually has very good interceptors from themselves. So even though if Iran did have the range, USA would have intercepted most of the missiles because in their country they can actually intercept most of it. But Israel is very close to Iran. It's not that far, and Iranian missiles do have the range to actually go to Israel. That's why they've been able to do a lot of damage with the ballistic missiles. Now, in the start, for the first few days, the Iron Dome was actually able to intercept 95% or maybe like 99% of the missiles. Everything was kind of getting blocked. Iran wasn't getting any damage. But then what Iran actually did is they started firing different type of missiles. So they went for the cluster bombs. Now it's very difficult to actually block like a cluster bomb because you can intercept a cruise missile, you can intercept a ballistic missile, but with a cluster bomb, because it divides into like different small pieces, so it doesn't get intercepted easily, and that's how they started causing the damage. And then something happened with the Iron Dome. I don't know if they attacked the Iron Dome itself, but then something happened with the Iron Dome, and then it started blocking only 50% of the missiles. And then what happened is that it only started blocking right now, Iron Dome is only blocking like 25%. So 70% of the missiles are actually going through. That's like a problem. And now even the ballistic missiles are actually causing damage. Did you hear about Dubai airport got struck by an Iranian drone as well? Yeah, I did hear about that actually. Dude, Iranian drone are very accurate, and you know the thing about this, Russia is the one actually helping them with the intelligence. So that's why America was not even expecting Iran to have that high intelligence and accuracy. They're strategically very good actually. Like you would expect Iranians to be warriors. They have history of being warriors. But strategically, you wouldn't expect them to be that good, maybe because they don't have an army like USA. They don't spend as much money as USA, but they're actually using a lot of their brains. Like the closing the Strait of Hormuz and all of that. USA was like, we didn't even expect Iran to close the Strait of Hormuz. Like, dude, you started the war. You should have thought about it, all of it. But it's saying free America. Is that free America from Israel? America first? If that's what it is, then I do understand it. Mitchell Hedden saying you live in the West, don't you? Yeah, I do live in the West. I'm not bashing the West here, by the way. If I'm saying something good about if I'm critical of the policies of the West, it doesn't mean that I hate the West. It means I am trying to protect West from what it is doing. If West is doing anything wrong, I'm trying to protect it because the war is actually causing a lot of damage for the West itself. Like USA, do you think USA is actually benefiting from the war? I mean, Israel has actually taken a lot of damage from the war itself. USA has taken a lot of damage. A lot of our soldiers are actually dying. The military bases are getting destroyed. You know, the economy is going to get fucked now when the Strait of Hormuz doesn't actually open. And now Trump doesn't have good relationships with the NATO anymore as well. Um, Iran doesn't have cruise missiles. They're not fast anyways. Dude, Iran does have cruise missiles. They're definitely firing cruise missiles. Let me just check quickly. I'm not saying that Iran is actually producing those missiles, but it could also be the fact that they're buying them from like Russia or. But I am pretty sure that they use cruise missiles. Has Iran used cruise missiles against Israel? Like, we're just gonna put up the fact. I just want to do a fact check, and somebody's calling me a coward. Ballistics are fast, hypersonic. Ballistics are fast, yeah, but they're a bit expensive as well. That's just cause Trump is dumb, dude. Confused. I Sam, you're completely right. I'm not gonna lie about this, dude. Trump doesn't know anything. Trump actually confused Iraq with Iran as well for a second. He did. There's like a speech where he's confusing that. Okay, Iran attack sent around 170 drones, over 30 cruise missiles. So they did use cruise missiles, and more than 120 ballistic missiles towards Israel. They use a lot of ballistic missiles. Like, that's their history. KO Mars Besser is saying you're gonna talk about dead school kids. Dude, yes, dead school kids. That was terrible. That Tomahawk missile. I mean, Trump should have apologized for it. And Trump is like, we don't even know. Iran actually dropped it. That's what he was saying. You see Cash Patel with shoes on the mat? I've not I've not seen that. Shoes on the mat. Cash Patel is like, let me just what's up, G? Yo, Vantage, how you doing, bro? Let me see Cash Patel with shoes on the mat. I missed that. Cruise missiles are made in US only, and some NATO use in it. So it could be that Iran actually bought. Does Russia make cruise missiles, by the way? I mean, there's a video. Cash Patel was on there on the mat with his shoes on. Manil cop should go and choke him out for that. Um, is that like a video? I mean, I can see in an Instagram, but I don't think I can open Instagram on my computer. Gaethje team is training with F. Oh yeah, yeah, I know. UFC was saying that there will be like 4 fighters: Chandler, Gaethje. There's 2 other guys that are actually going to be training with Cash, but and the director Cash was on the mat with shoes. He was on the dude. Oh my god, did he get fucked by those guys? By the way, skipping my comments now. You covered. Okay, Michelle, I'm not skipping anybody comments, but it depends upon the comment, right? If your comment is like completely disrespectful, I don't know. There's no doubt. Anti-Duff Doofus is saying there's no doubt. There's no doubt that Mark Levin has a small penis. Yeah, yeah. There's no doubt, dude. He has a micro penis. Okay, I can see a picture of Justin Gaethje and Abdul Aziz taking part in. I can see Cash Patel. I can see Cash Patel with it. I can't disrespect the country you fled from. Dude, I don't know what you're saying, to be honest. I can't even see your comment, to be honest. I'm not the one actually filtering the comments, but Tyler is the moderator, and if he actually finds something that is I don't know, that is inappropriate, I guess, then he would have to filter the comment. But what's your point, by the way? Give me your point. Like, what are you trying to say? Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. That's kind of crazy. Teach us how to do UFC, bro. Oh my god. Now YouTube must have hit it. Oh, YouTube is actually doing it itself. Yo, Michelle Haddon, it's YouTube does it sometimes. Like, it's the same thing. It could be the words. It could also be like the keywords. Like, even my friends, when they're typing it sometimes, it could be that the YouTube is actually filtering the comments itself. They do that sometimes on the live. Okay, so dude, you know what I'm worried about actually? USA relationships with all the countries right now. Like, USA has turned so many allies into enemies. Like, look at the Arabian countries as well. Like, you have so many Middle Eastern countries that are actually on the side of USA. So you have Saudi Arabia, you have Qatar, you have Bahrain, and all of those countries. Qatar. US actually does a lot of deal with those countries. USA has got bases on those countries. We take a lot of money from those countries too. But at the same time, we didn't protect them actually. US spent most of the money. They used most of the interceptors to actually protect Israel. And that's why, US has got a very good anti-missile system, and there's like 8 of them. I can't remember the name of it at the top of my head. But 4 of them actually got destroyed. And there's only 8 of them on this whole planet. And then the rest 4 were in South Korea. And then the USA actually asked South Korea to give them those 4 back so they can actually protect Israel again. They're just kind of crazy. Michelle Haddon is saying, take up arms and fight the battle you claim you're winning. Dude, I'm not even from Iran. Claim the battle that you're winning. I'm not saying that I'm not saying Iran is winning or losing. Here's the thing, US is the one that actually attacked Iran. So it depends on what victory looks like. You guys don't even know what the victory actually looks like. Like, what is the plan? Are you looking for a regime change? Are you looking to fully dethrone the country, destroy the country? Yeah, a lot of people are Muslims. You did say that. Um, your US air defense system is not good. Monk Wei saying, dude, their air defense system is not good. I feel like their air defense system is pretty good. So are you talking about like, the air defense system and like the plane to plane? Like if a plane is coming into your territory, or talk about like the missiles, like if the missile is falling, then to intercept it. I feel like their air defense system was pretty good in terms of like intercepting the missiles. The success rate was pretty high. U.S. also has a satellite that takes a record of any missile that gets fired on this planet. It could be a missile in any territory. It could be a missile in Russia, China, fired from anywhere. The USA actually has a record of it. They get a warning when the missile gets fired. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you very much, man. Same to you. Is Anti-Dawes is saying there's 2 billion Muslims. There's 2 billion Muslims. Yeah, there's probably the same amount of Christians as well. 2-3 in Dagestan and forget. Yeah, baby. That's what I need to spend. I mean, they would probably fuck me up really bad. Ruth Connor saying, yeah, USA is in the wrong for sure. Support my Iranian friends as an Irish person in the UK. Yeah, bro, that's good. Irish people have always been very supportive to like the Palestinians or the Iranians. This is pretty good. I personally am not Iranian, but I can see that USA is in the wrong here because they're the ones actually started the war. And by the way, before starting the war, you need to give at least like a reason, right? Like why are we going there? Why are we starting the war? Was it because Iran was possessing the nuclear weapons or they were close to making the nuclear weapons? Didn't we destroy the bases in June? Didn't we annihilate the bases in June? So what were we actually happy about if we didn't actually do that? There are way more Christians. There's probably a bit more. I guess like Christians are probably 2 point something billions. Muslims are like close to 2 billions. If USA was doing good, why would Trump ask the whole world to help? Yes, I mean that's also true. Trump asked the whole world to help. Now he's asking the NATO allies to actually help into a war that he did not even consult the NATO allies. So before attacking, he didn't get permission from any of the NATO allies. Also, Christians are so pushy, and I have so many Muslim friends, and they have never pushed anything apart from inviting me into the culture. Thanks, man. Thanks. Muslims are actually very nice. Most of them are at least nice. I can't comment about the Christians because, to be honest, I do have Christian friends, but I never actually had any friends that try to actually like take me to a church or anything like that. So that never happened. But I did have a Christian friend actually that I used to have an argument with. Like we used to live in the same house, and then we used to have an argument about kind of like everything that was mentioned in whether it was Bible or whether it was Quran. As long as it's like a productive argument, that's what I kind of appreciate. Like at least you're trying to get to the truth. But when it becomes like a propaganda, that you're trying to like win the argument and be like, okay, I have to push it. That's where I have a problem with the opposition. They're really nice to the cousins when they marry them. I don't think all of the Muslims actually marry their cousins. And by the way, this is happening in like other cultures as well. Marrying the cousins thing, this was common in other cultures too. Like I can pull up the history right now. There were cultures that were actually marrying their cousins. And by the way, it's like a perception that Muslims actually do that. It might be like a few countries where they kind of do that to some extent, but it's not very common. It feels like people can't be in genuine debate anymore and it always need to be an argument. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it needs to be an argument and we need to win the argument. It's like I have to win it. I have to just push what I'm preaching instead of like going to the truth. Okay, just accepting the defeat if I do find the truth, which is kind of a hard thing to do actually, to be honest. I'm not talking about history. Over 60%. You're saying over 60% of Muslims actually marry their cousins? That's pretty wrong, Sasso. Cousin marriage is generally allowed in many Protestant denominations, but it is often restricted in Catholic and Orthodox traditions, which may require special permission. The Bible does not explicitly forbid it, and instances exist in the Old Testament through church laws, often prohibited due to genetic risk and traditions. That's what's so stupid. It's allowed to marry first cousins in many U.S. states. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in the United States, right? Isn't it allowed in actually many US states? And even I'm reading from here, it's saying the Bible does not actually explicitly forbid it. Although Bible does mention that there's we can find it in the Old Testament. The church actually has laws that prohibit it because they were aware of like the genetic risk. So even like 2000 years ago, they were aware of some of the genetic risks, but they didn't prohibit it. And that's where you can find some of the examples actually. And Protestants actually do have denominations that actually do cousin marriage. Um, I think you need to check your statistics made. As of 2025, U.S. states allow first cousin marriage, while 7 others allowed with specific restrictions. States allowing it include Alabama, California. Isn't Alabama quite famous for like having like incest and stuff? California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia. You don't know what explicit means. Um, I know what explicit means, dude. I know what explicit means. Okay, here's the thing, right? I'm not like supporting or like advocating for cousin marriage. I'm not saying anything like that. If they're genetic risks, I don't think people should be actually going for that. But then we have to be consistent in our approach. If there's other cultures and other religions that are actually involved in the same practices, maybe not to the same extent, mm, then we can't be just bashing one religion for doing that. um, then you're making a bad argument. I'm not making a bad argument. Look, Hamid is actually giving stats. These are the states: Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, Hawaii, and Alaska. It is allowed in the US. So, I mean, Michelle had unless you can come up with a better evidence, or you can come up with an argument, or you can deny the claim that he's making right now that it's allowed in those states. Unless you can do that, you wouldn't have the right to actually bash the Islamic religion or the Muslims for that. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's happening. Not all of the USA. First cousin marriage is legally permitted in the majority of European countries, including the UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, France, and Finland. Biology, neuroscience also leaning towards it being animal wide, Michelle. Uh, don't have believe us, just check the stats. Yeah, I mean, it's happened. It's happened like a long time ago. Like humanity couldn't have gone to that level. We could have actually come to the point if we didn't actually have the incest and the cousin marriage. Now, are those practices the best practices? No, definitely not. And I think we should be actually going away from that. But I think that's the trend that we're following right now. Like the if you go back a generation back, I think more people are actually involved in the first cousin marriages. But in this generation, there's going to be way less people. Like, I don't know any of my friends actually from my generation that are actually involved in the cousin marriages, but there are some people, I guess. But then the next generation would be far, far away from it, I guess. Being permitted isn't the same as it being prevalent. Do you understand, by the way, Christianity actually came way before Islam? They came way before Islam. So their religion will be progressing at the same sort of speed. So Islam, in the start, the cousin marriage was actually allowed. So in the first few years, people did actually do cousin marriages, but then slowly people are actually moving away from it, and it will take a bit of time to do that, as the age of consent is kind of the same. Yeah, the age of consent, bro. By the way, in Pakistan, the age of consent is actually increased from 16 to 18 years old now. So in Pakistan, it's 18 years old, and if you look at most of the USA states, it's 16 years old. Even in UK, it's like 16 years old. So Pakistan's age of consent is actually higher than UK and USA right now. Let me check. Let me check some of the other states actually. Let me check what the age of consent in Iran is. From Google, rates of cousin marriage in the Middle East have been found to vary from 29% in Egypt to nearly 58% in Saudi Arabia. Um, Several European countries have the lowest age of consent at 14. Oh my God, 14 years old, including Austria, Bulgaria, Estonia, Germany, Hungary. Because the East Asian countries follow Christianity more, I guess. Italy, Portugal, Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, Andorra. Age of consent has nothing to do with the cousin marriage. Saudi Arabia, yes. But he's giving you another argument, by the way. Very tribal. Yemen is probably way higher. It actually does have correlation, I would imagine, Michelle. Stray. My both Jews and Palestinians have ancestor, historical, and religious claims to the land, leading to conflicting views on who was there first. Historically, Jewish tribes. Yeah, I mean, Jewish people were the Bani Israel people, right? And the Palestinians were the Philistines. And the Philistines were the ones that actually, uh, Philistines came before the Bani Israel. And when the Jews actually, when Moses came, then Jewish people actually started from the people who actually followed Moses. And the Philistines at that time were not the best people, I guess, because they were attacking the Jews. But then at the end, Jews started doing what they actually preached against. It is a non-squitter, though. Hey, Nigeria is 11. Carol, how's it going? In Nigeria, it's 11? That can't be possible, bro. Let me check. Um, Age of consent in Nigeria. We're just checking right now. I mean, why is it not putting, man? Why is it saying 18 years of age? Unlawful sexual intercourse with a child. Um, I mean, it's not even clearly coming up, to be honest. The age of consent ranges from as low as 11 in Nigeria to as high as. Oh, by the way, Nigeria has like different age of consents in the country. So they can be as low as 11 years old in Nigeria, in some parts of Nigeria, to as high as like 21 years old. I mean, 21 years old, I would say, is pretty high. But then 9 years old is like really low. Southeast Asia has a big problem in that matter. Thank you for delightful chat. I have subbed, but I must go and spread love on lives. I was looking for people today to hope to catch another soon, though. Yo, Ruth, thank you very much, and thanks for subscribing, bro. If anybody hasn't subscribed yet, you can subscribe to my channel, bro. Thanks for popping into my stream, to be honest. It's always the poorest countries. That's what Google told me. Yeah, Carol, you're actually right. I just fact checked it, and yes, in Nigeria, some of the parts have it as low as 11 years old, but some parts also have it as 21 years. Explain how not restricting something correlates to its prevalence. I can make an argument that having restrictions means it's more prevalent, making the laws necessary. Um, Not necessarily, Mitchell. Not necessarily, to be honest, because otherwise the law wouldn't get passed, right? So in Pakistan, people have like a perception that Pakistan, the age of consent, normally in usual cases is very low. That people actually get married at a very low age. This is like a perception of the Western countries, right? When I was actually living in Pakistan, I didn't see many people actually getting married at a very low age, unless they were living in like a tribal area, or they were living in a very like sort of like rural area or the villages or stuff. In the urban areas, is mostly high. People are getting married at a very high age. And my point actually is that you're saying that they actually changed the age of consent, increased the age of consent from 16 to 18 because people were actually getting married at the age of 16 a lot. But I would also have an argument against it. I would say that if most of the people did not agree with this, they could have opposed this, but it means the people in power actually in the parliament have the same beliefs as us guys, like it should be higher to 18. So that is actually a good point, right? So I'm not saying there's people who actually believe that it should be 18, that all of the people actually believe that it should be 18. Obviously there are people living in the villages, in the rural areas, who actually believe that it should be as low as they want it to be. But then the people in power, the educated people over there, the people who actually run the country, the ones who are sitting in the assembly, they do believe that it should be higher. Who's Mark Levin? Yeah, for sure, he definitely does have a micro penis. So Mark Levin is a very big Zionist guy, to be honest, and he was never a Trumper. In 2016, he was completely against Donald Trump, just like Ben Shapiro, just like Marco Rubio, just like Ted Cruz. He was one of those guys. And even right now, he was one of the biggest supporter of Israel attacking Iran and Israel attacking Palestine. And he's got something going on with Megyn Kelly, where he's been tweeting about Megyn Kelly nonstop, 24 hours. So Megyn Kelly actually came back and said that he's got a micro penis, and I think he does. David Jackson, how you doing, bro? So I mean, age of consent by countries. We'll find out. We'll find out the age of consent by countries. Which country has the highest age of consent and which country has got the lowest age of consent? World Population Review. Age of consent range from 12 to 21 years old, with most countries settling theirs between 14 and 16. So, by the way, in most of the countries, the age of consent is actually 14 to 16. That's most of the countries. That's kind of crazy, right? So, I mean, just the point that you were trying to make that the Muslim countries have low age of consent. You cannot tell me that most of the countries are Muslim. It's kind of untrue. Most of the countries are not Muslim. You can barely read. You don't know the term, and you're online trying to debate with people. Japan was 13 before 2023. Japan was 13 before 2023. That's kind of crazy as well. Okay, by the way, Michelle, I've seen your statement. You haven't actually proved anything. You haven't actually. What do you mean you can't even read it? What are you trying to talk about, by the way? What was your point? You were talking, which point do you want to discuss now? Do you want to talk about the cousin marriage or do you want to talk about the age of consent? If you talk about the age of consent, you haven't been able to give us any evidence because you were trying to diminish the whole culture. That's what you were trying to do, right? You were trying to devalue the whole culture by saying that we're so backwards, that we are doing the cousin marriages, that we are doing the age of consent is really low. With the age of consent, I've given you the stats. I mean, Hamid has posted the stats right now. There's a lot of other people who've done it as well. Like there's countries with 11 years old. There's countries with 14 to 16 years old. I'm gonna show you a list that actually shows most of the countries have the age of consent from 14 to 16 years old. And are you telling me that most of the countries are Muslims? You don't agree with me, right? Most of the countries are not Muslims, of course not. So it means a lot of the countries have the age of consent of 14 to 16. And I've given you many of the examples of like the Muslim countries with the age of consent as like 18 years old. So your argument doesn't hold any weight. 12 in the Philippines, a heavy Christian country. Hi, you can't even read it. In US, the Amish and Mormon marry young. Yeah, I mean that is pretty true as well. It does not follow. You keep jumping all over. I haven't said anything about the age of consent. So what is your argument right now? Do you want to go back to like cousin marriage or from US states, California, Mississippi, thoughts on transnational Jewish fascism? Um, yeah, I mean, Jews do have control. I do believe that. I mean, I use the word actually Zionism. That's the word that I use. Let me just pull up the stats. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I don't have a problem with Jewish people actually gathering and Jewish people actually becoming rich or like becoming billionaires, or if they only want to do the business with the Jews. If a Jew only wants to do a business with Jews, and that is the reason the Jews are actually getting more famous and Jews are actually getting more money, and that's why they own most of the businesses, I don't have a problem with this. But at the same time, if they use the power that they have to actually get control of the other countries, which I would say some of the people are like Zionists, right? Um, and by the way, those people might not even be Jews. Like with the Zionist ideology, some of those could be like Christian Zionists, some of these could be like atheist Zionists. I don't even know about like if Rothschild was actually a Jew. I don't think he was practicing Jew at any point. He might actually be like an atheist in the start. But then what he was doing is using his power, he was able to take that banking system to almost all of the countries in the world. And I mean, even the thing with the Iranian, like the oil line that he had with the Israel, the project that he actually got, that Israel actually owed Iran $1.5 billion for that. I don't agree with those kind of things, like influencing the politics with your power. This is the thing I don't actually agree with. To die the cousin marriage, minimum 15, 17, some close 8 billion people on 2.3 Muslims on earth. Haha, let's go. Resulting in low IQ and the evidence of that. Most people are Christians. Michelle, are you coming here just to bash? Christian Zionist started in the Christian Zionist started in the UK. Can't remember exactly. Maybe started in the UK. I mean, there's something with the evangelicals. I mean, I don't have much information about it, but it just seems like Rothschild actually wrote the whole Bible again. So, is either late 1800s or early 1900s, when the whole Bible was actually kind of interpreted again. So the verses were given a different sort of interpretation that actually said that Christians would have to protect the Jews at all costs, and that instilled the love of the Jews in the hearts of the Christian. Now, are the Jews people of God? I mean, Jews were the people of God, right? But which Jews are we talking about? Which Jews are we talking about, right? The Jews of that time. How would you know that the Jews of this time are actually the same Jews that they had back in the days? Because they might actually be committing different deeds. They might be sinful. They might not have the same actions that the Jews in the past had. Maybe you're thinking Somalians, you can marry your sister. They live for money. Maybe you're thinking Somalians, you can marry your sister. Okay. Yeah, so this is the thing I don't agree with. Billy Graham. Okay, we're gonna check out. Okay, so Billy Graham is actually an American evangelist. Was an American evangelist, obtained Southern Baptist minister in civil rights. We're talking like 1918 to February 2018. And civil rights advocate whose broadcasts and world tours featuring live sermons became well known in the mid to 20th century. These are evangelical preachers. They have private jets. British Raj. Billy Graham. They aren't. Jesus gave them a generation to accept him as their savior. They didn't. Yeah, here's the thing, right? They're Orthodox Jews as well. And if you look at New York City, there's a lot of Orthodox Jews who are actually protesting against the attack of Israel. They're also against the Zionist state. They're completely against it. And by the way, there's a Christian woman in the Conservative Party, and the Conservatives were actually holding like a religious event, which was kind of like for to neglect to oppose anti-Semitism. Basically the whole event was like to oppose the anti-Semitism, right? That's what they were doing. And that woman actually said that you're not going to be bringing Palestine into this, because if you do bring Palestine into this, then I'm actually going to call it a genocide. And what they did is they brought Israel and Palestine like 70 times. And what she did is she denied it, and she said that Israel was committing a genocide in Palestine. And now what they did is Trump fired her. Dude from the Republican Party, fired her from the Republican Party. And she was the woman who actually supported Trump. Trump was the one who actually brought her into this. So that's where you can see how much power Christians actually have. Like, even the Christians are not allowed to criticize anything against the Israelis, against the Zionists. So that's what I would say. I mean, there are a lot of good Jews as well. There are Jews living in Israel that were actually protesting the wars, that were protesting the war against Palestine. They were actually doing that as well. These are the Orthodox Jews that we're talking about. But then you have the other Jews, mostly like Zionist sort of mentality Jews, who have the Zionist sort of mentality. Not all Americans are evangelists. Yeah, of course, not all of them are. They don't have the same beliefs. Yeah, and many of the Jews actually voted for Mamdani, and Mamdani is a Muslim mayor, but they actually did that. Jesus gave them a generation to accept their savior. They didn't. Orthodox are Greeks and Russians and Egyptians mostly, probably. The nice Jews live in Iran. Oh, there's a lot of Jews in Iran as well, by the way, and Lebanese. Okay, who over here actually believes in Gog and Magog? I'm quite interested in this because I was reading about it. Okay, let me pull up the Rothschild family. Okay, Rothschild family. Why don't you leave the West? I mean, Michelle is completely against me. He's like, why don't you leave the West? Lash Patel, that you. And New York is going down the toilet. I mean, New York, I don't know what's going on. What do you guys think about the socialism, by the way? The whole concept of socialism. Lash Patel. There's someone who's calling me Lash Patel. Cash Patel. Why don't you oil companies, military risk? Okay, the Rothschild family. You leave, we leave. Go to your sand dunes. Go to your sand dunes. Dunes. Who's watching the next dune? Okay, the Rothschild family is a historically prominent Ashkenazi Jews banking dynasty that established a massive European financial empire in the 19th century. Okay, so Mayor Amschel Rothschild in Frankfurt in Germany, the family dominated international finances, funding governments and infrastructure projects. The Rothschilds remains a major financial services group today. This video explains the history of the Rothschild family. Um, okay, so Mayor Amschel Rothschild established the business in Frankfurt, later spreading it across Europe through his five sons. So Amschel Rothschild was like the first ones. Why go for easy low blows? Take your bases, banks, oil companies. Okay, by the way, I don't understand the argument when they're like, okay, but you're not talking in favor of the European countries. So why are you actually living in a European country? Bro, there's so many people from like the European countries actually that are criticizing the government as well. So it's not like the Trump is taking everybody on his side. Even no countries from the EU are actually supporting Trump either. UK is not supporting Trump. I mean, the Scandinavian countries are not supporting Trump. Even with Netanyahu, like when his house actually got invaded, when his house actually got attacked by the Iranian missiles, they actually took him to European countries first. Like they took him to Spain, Italy. Those countries completely rejected him. They don't want to take him. Germany, because Germany had a bad history with him, Germany had to take him. So, mm, yeah, Carol, no, no, I completely understand it. Thank you. No problem. No problem. No, that's not what I'm saying. But like I was answering the other guy's question, like the what's his name? Michel. Because Michel is saying that the guys should be like us guys, like maybe guys from my ethnicity actually coming in West and actually criticizing the policies of the West. I think we should be allowed to do it. Like I would have the same sort of behavior. I would have the same behavior if European guys moving to like the South Asian countries, which is not a trend at the moment. But if they're living in like South Asian countries or let's say Middle Eastern countries, that is quite common, right? Then they should be allowed to criticize the governments of those countries because you're living in those countries, you're a member of those countries. So I'm gonna call myself British actually. Oh, although my ethnicity is Pakistani, I was born in Pakistan, I actually came here, but I am British. I have the British nationality, so I'm living over here. And I would say my son would be English. He wouldn't be white, but he would be English. And Germany is a nice country. Yes, Germany had a history with obviously the Jews and stuff. So obviously, if Benjamin Netanyahu is going to Germany because they feel really bad for what happened with the Holocaust, like 6 million people died or whatever, Germany feels really bad about this. So they wouldn't do anything wrong against the Jews. They would just do whatever they can. They don't want to take any more criticism of that. But yeah, this is the point that I'm making, that if you're living in a country, you should be allowed to criticize the policies of the country. That's the only way that you're playing a role, you're contributing to the society. In terms of reparations, yeah, they did actually paid back. Cooked sadly. If anyone adds to the country and embraces those country and does it legally, then I'm okay with that. Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like the process of that. Like this is the process that people need to follow actually. Like legally come to the country via legal ways. Legally come to the country, contribute to the country, actually work in the country, contribute to the economy, and then you should be allowed to criticize the policies as long as the policies actually is not benefiting the country and you are going against the policy because you believe that would be harmful for the country. Germans should help the Palestinians. Um, I mean, you can possibly make the argument that they should have helped the Palestinians. I think they had like mixed stances. Like there were leaders that were actually calling it a genocide and saying that it's not nice. But then you have another leader actually coming in and saying that, oh, what Israel is doing, Israel has the right to defend itself and they should be allowed to do whatever they're doing. You don't benefit, stay in your third worlds. You don't benefit Aryan people. Aryan people. Aryan, are they like, I believe Iranians were like Aryans at some point as well, right? Hamid Base and all the suffering. By the way, MT79, the argument that you're making is like staying in your third world. people have been doing this for a long, long time. Like the European countries have done this exactly the same thing, going to other countries. They went to colonize Africa, or although they didn't actually live in Africa, except the South Africa, but they did actually invade Africa. How about USA? How about going to USA? Like the natives of USA were not actually European, but the European countries actually did invade USA. You had countries like Dutch, what's I mean UK. You had Ireland. You had Spanish. You had French actually going to USA. There's even Spanish language very common in the USA actually, and Canada. Canada has a lot of French people over there. I'm sorry, I have nothing against you or anybody else, but if you come to a country, even legally, I do not believe that you become that nationality, that you're just a person living in that country. No, nationality as like the, if you're living in a country and you have the nationality of the country, if you actually pass the test and you actually have the nationality, then you can call yourself British. I think you should be allowed to call yourself British. I mean, you cannot call yourself white or like European. You're not going to say I'm white or like European, but you can say that I am British. Have you seen the pyramids? Okay, this is a debate that I actually want to have. Like, how long do you have to live in the country to actually call yourself English? So I can't be English because I was not born here. I would always be Pakistani. But let's say my person, sorry, my son, would my son actually be English if my son is actually born here? You would have nothing if it wasn't for the native Europeans. What do you mean? If it wasn't for the native Europeans, you would be nothing. I mean, India was living, South India was living happily. I mean, Arabs had their own culture before that. It's not like the Europeans actually went to Arab and they actually gave them their culture. I mean, Europeans actually never invaded Arab. European went to Africa. They invaded countries of like the Africa. Europeans went to USA and invaded the countries of USA, but they never actually went to like Saudi Arabia, like those countries, and actually fully invaded them. And actually, the Arabs had their own culture, and I'm not saying it was the best culture, but they did have some sort of like they were pretty civilized. I'm not Native American. You would have nothing to. Then I would say first generation English. Carol saying I would say first generation English. First generation English, right? So if my son is actually born here, he would be English. That would actually make sense, right? I mean, I was kind of thinking about it, but I was saying like Europeans actually migrated to England, right? Europeans migrated to England like a long, long time ago, but they were not the first people to actually live here. But they can claim themselves as English now. But then even before Europeans, there were people that are actually living in like there was people from the Stone Age that were actually living in England. Then there's people from like there were different tribes. There was Portuguese tribes that actually moved to England. Then you have the you have the Scandinavians, which were like the Vikings. Then you had the Normans. You had like all of those people actually coming to England. So which one can actually claim themselves English? Like white is not one race, right? There's different races that are actually mixed in. There's people with like the blonde hair. There's people who are like taller, stronger, more likely from the Icelandic origins, and then there are people from other parts of the world. There's a sentient black hole walking around pretending to be human and killing people. Black hole walking around pretending to be human and killing people? That's kind of crazy, Kyle. But I am interested. I love black holes. I would love to see it. Go to the south of Spain and you will see the Muslim architecture everywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even Arabs actually took a lot of architecture of different countries. Algebra was actually made by the Arabs, and then Turkish culture, actually Ottoman Empire. They went to different countries. They actually give them a lot of culture as well. You know, Muslims and Jews were living very happily in Palestine and Israel. Now Israel, before Palestine, they're actually living very happily together. Muslims and Jews under the rule of the Ottoman Empire. What is your opinion on the early stages of Operation Barbarossa? Could Germany have taken Moscow? Have had they not focused to secure the flanks of army groups center? Dude, Germany could have taken Moscow. They could have taken Moscow. I think it was also the weather. Germans were not ready for the weather because Russia actually does get really cold. So this is the kind of mistake that didn't prepare themselves for that part. They could have actually won that one. Barbarossa. Could Germans have taken empty far from it love, but you do you far from it love. Okay, Carol, who are you talking to? Who was the last comment about? Is the last comment about me? And like, what is it regarding? Was it regarding your argument when we were talking about who would be English? Uh, MD calling me a liberal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's not like black and white. It's not like, oh, you're like if you believe in this policy, you're definitely going to be a liberal. Because I could believe in some of the conservative policies. I could also believe in some of the liberal policies. Like I am a guy who actually moved from Pakistan, but I'm not for open borders. I'm not for like fully open borders. I'm still for the people who actually I'm still for the people who are actually coming here legally through legal means. And if you're coming illegally through a board, we need a proper investigation of why you had to flee the country. Was your life really in danger? Were people trying to kill you? Were you facing religious oppression? Did you have a war in the country? And then through the proper investigations, and after that, contributing to the country, going through proper legal means after that. So even I have like beliefs that are a bit conservatives. Um, you're telling this brown guy this kids could be English. You're way more left of the political leader for me. But MT, you don't have an argument, right? So if you want to prove me wrong, right, you have to give an argument. So why do you think the European people can actually call themselves English? The European peoples can call themselves English because they've been living in this country for like a while, right? And I'm gonna give you an argument. Actually, prove me wrong. So you're saying European people can actually call themselves English because they're in abundance. Let's say the World War actually happens, the whole UK actually gets if he has citizen, the kids get an English birth certificate. Carol actually does make a lot of sense. But I have a question because I do want to get into the brain of MT. I do want to ask him a question. MT, I have a question for you, right? So let's say the World War actually happens. Russia completely destroys UK. Russia nukes UK. You don't have a white person left. You don't have a black person. You don't have anybody left in the UK. The whole UK is destroyed. And now in 100 years, people from Pakistan and India actually migrate to UK now. So people from Pakistan and UK are migrating to UK now. So the whole UK is brown now. There's no other race living in UK. Can those people actually claim themselves as English now because they're the only ones actually living in England? And then if in 100, 200 years now people from other European countries actually start migrating to UK now, but they are not in abundance now because the country is dominated by like the brown people and there's 20% of the white people actually coming from like the other European countries. Do you think those white people in that case from other European countries would be able to claim themselves as English then? What would be your answer? I would be very interested in that. They would probably call it something different. I mean, it's a possibility they would probably call it something different, but I also can see them actually calling it the same thing because English, they do have like English words even in the Urdu language, right? So even in Urdu, we have words like school and those words. And I can understand, like you're saying, they might actually make it something, name it something in Urdu or like a Hindi, right? It is a possibility they might actually do it. But it is also a possibility they might keep the same name just because England has a lot of significance and a lot of people are actually aware of that name. So it's not like something difficult that they wouldn't be able to understand it. So if they're keeping the same name as English, then my argument would actually be very hard to beat because now you have like brown people in abundance in England who are claiming themselves as English, and then you have different white people coming from the different European countries, but they're not in a great amount. They're only like 20% of the population, and they come later, like let's say 100 years after the brown people actually moved to the country. So in that case, do those white people call themselves English? Because the only reason that England is kind of like white people actually claim themselves as English, and they claim the whole land as their own, as like we want to see. I'm talking about like the white nationalists, right? They want to see the people like them is because they think they have like a special right to this because they're in abundance. They're the ones they think they're probably the first one to actually come to this. But even that's not true because Portugal people from Portugal were the first tribes that actually came to this country. Then there were a few other tribes as well. Then there were a few European tribes that actually came to the country. So I think it only depends upon whether you were born in the country or not, because we're talking about two different things. White itself is a race, it's not an ethnicity. And white itself is a very sort of like a, yeah, white itself is like a very big thing itself. It's not just one race. There's different type of like there's different races even in the whole like white race. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is white? Are Portuguese white? Are Italians white? Are the French white? Are the Spanish white? Because when the Spanish and the Italians actually moved to USA, when the US invasion actually happened, I'm talking like 1500s, right? The British people were considered white. The Irish people were considered white. Uh, uh, the Dutch people were considered white, but Italians and Spanish were not actually considered white. But then later on, because the skin color wasn't that different, they started considering them as white as well. But like, what is white actually? Because there's people that are whiter than the other people. Like, if you look at Irish people, right? Irish people are really white. Then you have some Scottish people who are like pretty white as well. Like, if you look at the people from actually like Icelandic countries, you look at the people from like people who are really living in the north, they're like really white. But then you have the Spanish people who are actually a little bit mixed, and they have black hair. Spanish people mostly don't have like blonde hair. Then you have Italian people. Italian are a little bit less white. Like, they're white, but a little bit less white. Like, they would have black hair as well. Restore is good, but all politics will fail. Even COVID-19 is saying I'm white English and only we can be English. Mining comes, they would probably call it something different. I'm not sure about like whether restore will actually fail or not. Maybe I see actually restore and reform actually destroying each other, because reform is actually winning right now. But if restore actually start getting the votes, then they might actually have a clash, because if they're taking half of the votes, Green Party might actually be able to beat them. I think the worst, the won't kick the fuck out you. Very much mistaken. Ever heard of something called the sun idiot? I'm English, German, Austrian, but here I am living in America for like 10 generations. Where am I supposed to be? I'm English, German, Austrian, but here I am living in America for like name one. Bro, you're American. No, I'm not actually American. Which one are you talking about, by the way? Hamid Bani is saying you're allowed your borders to be opened. Number one Muslim forced you to do that. No, not one Muslim actually forced you to do that. Yeah, by the way, guys, why the immigration actually started? That started after the Second World War, when UK was running very low on the economy. Their workers actually, most of the army age men were actually dying in the war, because UK was part of the First World War. They were part of the Second World War as well. They were very short on the manpower, so there were not many people available in the country to actually contribute to the economy of the country. So that's why they had to bring millions of Chinese and millions of Indians and millions of Pakistani, almost like 2 to 3 million people from like those countries, to actually come and help them with the factory sectors. That's what we were able to do. And so that's when the immigration was actually open. And since then, they've not been able to close it, because that's kind of the way they're doing it. You can have like low paid workers from like other countries. So it's kind of like a business. It's kind of, because if the natives are doing those jobs, you're gonna have to pay them a bit more money. Blame yourself, the UK people. English colonizers are feeling colonized. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, colonizers are feeling colonized right now. Like, why? Yeah, how do you, by the way, people, I want to ask you one question, right? How do you want people to actually move to other countries? Like, when the British actually colonized the continents, uh, hundreds of years ago, when they colonized the continent, that was through the wars. That was not through the peaceful means, right? But when we are colonizing, and I don't even want to call it colonizing, because it's not actually colonizing. But even if you do want to call it colonizing, and you're like, oh, these people are actually colonizing, this is with the least amount of damage. Like, we're not even doing any damage. We're just coming through like the study visa, or through like the work visa. We come here, we actually put an effort, put our blood and sweat into this country. That's what we actually do. And even the same thing with the studies. Like, people who are coming to study here, they actually pay the tuition fees. You know how much amount we have to pay for like the tuition fees? It's crazy amount that we actually do pay. So I don't understand why people actually go against it. Yeah, we're superior. So we're superior. MTs was pay number one. So I will sadly leave England, though. I will join a monastery in Egypt. Joy is saying I will join a monastery in Egypt. Blame your uncles and aunties. Caravels soft takeovers these days. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a soft takeover, right? And it's not even look. I don't know why people get threatened so much. You know how much Pakistani people actually contribute in UK? It's like four. It's maximum 6%, or like minimum 3%. That is very less amount. And the British people, like the European people, are still like 85% of the whole population. So I don't know why they're getting threatened. If there's only like 6% people coming from like different places, I don't think there should be threatened like that. They're like, oh, there's something going to be happening. Like these people are coming here, they're taking our jobs. And it's so easy to blame it because now you don't have to blame yourself. When you're not getting the job, when you're going for the job interview and not actually passing it, you don't have to blame yourself because you're just going to say, oh, it's an immigrant that is actually taking my jobs. It's kind of easy for you, right? No, but I almost became one. I am Eastern Orthodox. Are you Coptic? Many Orthodox Christians in Egypt, but I want to go to a monastery for a way. Coptic aren't truly Orthodox, though I love them. Dude, I don't even know Coptics. Copts are an indigenous ethno-religious groups in Egypt, representing the largest Christianity community in the Middle East, with an estimated population of 5 to 15%, roughly 4.7 to 10 million, primarily adhering to the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria. First century went to get into Egyptian society. Okay, okay, that's cool. I lived in Dearborn, Michigan. I would not wear a burqa or think Sharia law should be enforced. If I lived in Dearborn, Michigan, I would not wear a burqa or think Sharia should be enforced. Join and I refer to the Coptic Church. Yeah, also I want to say that thing about like Mamdani, right? Mamdani. If you don't want to agree with the socialistic policies of Mamdani, that's completely fine, right? I believe in the capitalistic society as well. But then it's like Muslims are praying one day on the streets, or like if Mamdani is actually breaking fast with the Muslims, they're like, oh, he's bringing Sharia law, he's doing this. Dude, it's just a Muslim guy. He's like hanging out with the Muslims. He's doing it. Doesn't mean that he's actually bringing the Sharia law. It's not doing that. And there's that day after, it was the Jews that were actually doing a party, and you know the kind of things that they were actually saying. They were saying stuff about Jesus as well, and nobody actually pointed out the fact what they were saying. Soft takeovers. Dearborn has bars and nightclubs. Carol, what the hell are you talking about? I've been smoking weed all town. Soft takeovers. The prey in the middle of the road. Dude, okay, here's the thing. Do I think it's wrong if they're praying in the middle of the road? Okay, if they're blocking the traffic and praying in the middle of the road, wrong. Wrong. I would say it right now. Wrong. But then you have to be consistent with it. If Jews did it the next day, then you're going to have to think about the same thing. You're going to have to be like, all right, but I need to be consistent. Okay, Muslims did it wrong. They prayed in the middle of the road. They blocked the traffic. That is wrong. But then Jews actually did it at the same place the day after. They blocked everything as well. Then you're gonna have to have no double standards and call it out for what it is. Beautiful brother. Someone not special. Hey, you're back. How you doing? You believe in theocratic Islamic politics? Stop lying. Who is talking about theocratic Islamic politics? I think the state and the politics should be separate. That's what I believe. Don't actually, because you're not arguing with me right now. You're just arguing with the argument that you can actually win. You're arguing with the arguments that you've actually seen online, but that's not what I am saying. I'm not saying that I want to see like a theocratic country or want to see like a Sharia law. If somebody wants to believe in Sharia law, they can actually believe in Sharia law. They can implement that in their own house. But I think the state should be separate from any sort of like the religious laws. That should be completely separate. I don't like Judaism or Islam. No, they can see you praying at a church. Bring the verses. When I pray alone or in the Orthodox Church. I don't like my neighbor. Bobby saying, what's wrong with Sharia law? Yeah, by the way, here's the thing, right? What's wrong with the Sharia law? I don't think that religious law and the political law should be like a similar thing. I think they should be separated. The state law and the Sharia law should be separated. But the Sharia law that they are talking about is not the Sharia law that Muslims actually believe in, by the way. Because what they try to portray is that Sharia law is like something like, oh, the girls should be getting married at the age of like 5, 4, or the Sharia law is like women should be oppressed and they should be forced to wear burqa, or Sharia law is like any kafir should be removed or anything like this. But this is not what Sharia law is. This is literally not what Sharia law is. Sharia law is what is present in the Quran, so it's not barbaric actually. But I still think the state law and the religious law should actually be separate. That's what I believe personally. And leaving Islam for the truth faith results in death. But that's the belief of some of the Muslims. That's not like the mainstream belief. Joey, that's not the mainstream belief. That's not. I don't know how many Muslims you've met who actually believe that, because I personally don't believe it. Therefore, I hate it and I am against it. I completely understand, Joy. If that's the belief of like some of the Muslims, I would say that's a wrong belief, and that's you are just in like hating them, but it's not a mainstream belief. I have read it. Wolfpack, don't make me mad. Bone Master, what am I doing, dude? I'm not trying to make anybody mad. Brett Palmer is saying in strict on Sharia law, Islam. Islam is strict on Sharia law. I mean, Islam doesn't say that Sharia law should be implemented in the state. It doesn't say that. If everyone in the state is a Muslim, then you can implement the Sharia law. And it says praying in the street is hypothetical, right? The verse Hamdi Joy it is tough in Sahih al Bukhari, which also needs must affirm. Dude, I can actually, by the way, nobody has actually been killed for that purpose. Like, you can't find that in the Islamic history. So if you're saying something happened in the Hadith, which means that Muslims have the examples of scholars actually implementing that law, or if there was a leader in the Islamic State, he should have actually done it if he came across that situation. But that never happened. So if that never happened, that tells you that that was actually never part. That was actually never the correct interpretation. How we some people actually interpret it, but I don't believe that. To be Sunni, you have to accept Sahih al-Bukhari. Yes, you do have to accept Sahih al-Bukhari. That's true. I thought you were Jewish. You look the same to me, Maddie. I look Jewish to you? I mean, Jewish are not very different, to be honest, but I am not. It's what Muhammad taught. I'm not a hypocrite, Maddie. It has happened many times, bro. Do you believe we're seeing the end of times? Okay, if you're talking about like the prophecies, I think a lot of prophecies are actually coming to fruition. Like like the war, actually, the Third World War that is about to sort of happen, like in the land of like Israel and Palestine. There's a prophecy about it. Like that's where the Mahdi will actually come from. Mahdi, the Messiah. I think Christians believe in that as well. Like the Mahdi would be coming, but Muslims definitely do believe that the Mahdi would be coming from that land. And then there's a prophecy about the Antichrist as well. Antichrist, before the day of judgment, he would be creating chaos in this planet. And I don't have like a single definition of Antichrist. I don't have a definitive definition of Antichrist. Is that like one person, or is that like a whole sort of like a, is that like a whole system? I don't know about that, but it seems like the prophecy is kind of coming true. I think both Christians and Muslims kind of together agree on that. Carol, stop stressing. Sluggy, yes. Look at the file of San Ahmad. Hamid, anxiety 101. Joey, bro, bioengineering. Anxiety. Are you saying bioengineering is like Antichrist? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Well, if you can create something through bioengineering, what about the AI? What if everything is controlled by the AI? Could that be Antichrist? I mean, that's also a possibility. If you're an evangelist, Carol converts to some other Christian denomination. Jalal deleted his message. I don't know why. How are you doing, Jalal, by the way? Carol, I've accepted Jesus. I am not stressing. Yeah, Carol, that's great. You believe in the apocalypse, Carol, technically proving Jesus' divinity. Bro is ignoring it. Mm, 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 mm. Bro is ignoring. Am I ignoring anything? Am I ignoring? Did anyone ask me a question? Joey, did you ask me anything, or is it someone else that is ignoring it? But like, I am pretty clear on my stance. I'm pretty clear on whatever question you ask me. Who is Mark Levin, by the way? Oh, Bob. Mark Levin is a Zionist who's actually targeting some members of the MAGA party, actually. And he's a big supporter of the war of Iran. He was a big supporter of the war of Palestine. And then Megyn Kelly, actually, who used to be like a Fox reporter, she claimed that Mark Levin has actually got a very small penis, a micro penis. That's the question I'm asking. Look up Sahih Bukhari 6922. Joey, are you asking me? Sahih Bukhari 6922. Are you asking me? I mean, I can do that. Six nine two two. Okay, how do progressive Muslims feel about Bukhari 6922? In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, O you believers, I do not worship what you worship, nor do you worship what I worship, nor will I ever worship what you worship, nor will you ever worship what I worship. To you is your religion, and to me is my religion. Uh, I mean, I couldn't find anything controversial over here. Uh, and yeah, Hamid, you are 100% right. For Muslims, Jesus was a revered and very important man. That is true. We actually do believe in Jesus Christ as a very high level prophet. Revolution of those who claim the hadith who speak. Okay, Joey, I'm gonna open up a different link because I couldn't find anything controversial. That is not the worst. Okay, I'm opening a different link. Um, it is not permissible. Is that the one, by the way? It is not permissible to shed the blood of a Muslim who testifies that there is no God but Allah and that I am the messenger of Allah, except in three cases: a previously married adulterer, a life for a life, and the one who leaves his religion and separates from the main bloody of the Muslims. A life for a life, and the one who leaves his religion. His religion executed. The scholars are, or are you referring to that part? 6922, is that the one you're talking about? Okay, let me just read it actually. Such as the hadith, whoever changes his religion, execute him. Okay, I think the interpretation of this is actually different. Let me just give you let me just find a paragraph where there's like interpretation of this one and like what context they're talking about, because if you actually just read the hadith, it sounds like, oh, it just says that whoever changes their religion, they should be executed, but that's not the case. Okay, let me check. The scholars are unanimously agreed that all the hadith in apart from a few words narrated by Muslims on Bukhari only, which common scholars come in and explain the but the scholars disagree on fit the views. However, the framework of academic debate and methodological is to promote and Muslims deemed to be Sahih in this book, definitely not Sahih. The same applies to everything Bukhari deemed to be Sahih in the book. The Umayyads have apart from those opinions. Definitely sound improvement certainty. No my zero degree, the whatever according to yes. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. You're talking about my commitment, actually. Yes, I mean, I do get in arguments. Okay, Joey, you're saying every Sunni scholar accepts it. Okay, I am getting the feeling that some Sunnis actually do believe it. Um, but I don't think everybody believes it. I don't think everybody believes it. So I'm trying to find like a. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, here's the thing. Joey, I actually found something, right? So in the early Islamic State, leaving the religion often meant defecting to an enemy army during active conflict. Because the times that we're talking about, like we're talking about 1400 years ago, right? So if you're leaving the Islam, most probably you're actually joining the other army. Because Islam is also like a political entity back in the days. Like today, it's mostly like the faith. Like I'm a Muslim, it's totally up to me. If I want to be a Muslim, I can be a Muslim. If I want to be a Christian, I can be a Christian. But in the early times, in the war times, we're talking about like 1400 years ago, it was also like a political entity. So there was a grouping. If you're a Muslim, then you're with the Muslims. If you're turning your faith, then you're joining the other army. If you're joining the other army, what does that even mean? It means you're going to attack us and you're going to try to kill us. So that's more like a self-defense tactic, I guess. Um, Okay, other authentic narrations like Sahih Muslim qualify this by adding, and the one who leaves his religion and separates from the community. It also says leaves a religion and separates from the community. This suggests the punishment was for those who actively sought to dismantle or wage war against the community. So they're actively waging war against the community. Dude, I'm not lying. I totally believe it. Like, I totally believe the peaceful explanation of this one. And Islam has different sects as well. Like you can say, okay, Sunni sects actually believe in it. First of all, I don't believe that all of the Sunnis actually believe in it. But Sunni is not the only sect. There's Shias, there's Sunnis, there's Ahmadis, there's a lot of different sects that actually have their own interpretations of the text. And you have to look at the text in the whole context, in the whole detail. Just because it's saying, in Quran at some point it even says like the kill the Christian and the Jews, and people actually think, oh, Quran actually tells you to like kill the Christian and the Jews, but that was like self-defense, because the Christian and the Jews of that time, they were actively attacking the Muslim. So it was like for self-defense. If they're trying to attack you, if they're trying to kill you, for your self-defense practice, you can actually kill them back, like you can attack them back. um I have literally since intertwined with political beliefs. I have spoken to literally sheikhs about this, bro, and they're from what I say. Okay, can you give me any sheikh that actually does believe in it? Can you give me any current person that actually believes in it? Give me a name of a current person, and I can actually put the name of the current person over there and see if they actually believe in it. There's only one Sunni sect united, and Shia Ahmadis are not regarded Muslims. I mean, that's kind of like an opinion as well, right? At the same time, depends. Ah. I don't remember their name. And by the way, I am Ahmadi. I am Ahmadi. That's why I'm saying that. I am not Sunni actually. I am Ahmadi, but I have a lot of Sunni friends. Like even the guys that I actually stream with are like Sunnis of Saudi Arabia are not the Sunnis of. If I hadn't been for Coronai Joe, I would have been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Coronai Joe? Oh my god, that's funny, dude. Oh, then that's different. Yeah, I am from the Ahmadi sect actually. We believe in the peaceful explanation, but bro, even the Sunnis wise, right? Like I have a lot of like the Sunnis of Morocco, not the same as the Sunnis of Iraq. Sunnis of Pakistan are kind of different as well. If there's Sunnis that actually believe in the not the peaceful explanation, then I think they got a problem with it. But I know my friends, I know like a few Sunnis in my circles that actually believe in that. That Ahmadis are not Muslims because they do not accept prophethood as last prophet. No, but that's another debate, right? That's another debate. But what's the point of actually we're dividing, we're causing more divide now. If there's gonna be Jalal, are you Muslim by the way? Jalal, are you Muslim? Because if you're a Muslim, right, and then you're calling me kafir, then it's like then we're starting another debate. Then we're like, okay, this guy is not Muslim now. Because I'm trying to like fight for the Muslims here. I'm trying to fight for the whole community. And if I have people of my community coming to me and saying like, oh, you're not even Muslim, then I wouldn't enjoy actually fighting for the Islam. Yeah, Hamid, you're completely right. You're completely right. So please do your research on Sunnis by countries and continents. Yeah, there's people living in different places and they believe in different texts. Ugh. Okay, guys, by the way, thanks for popping into my stream. And if you can actually follow and subscribe to my channel, that would be great. I think I'm gonna go to sleep because I have work tomorrow as well. I'm gonna answer this question. I love answering this question every time. Mark Levin. Mark Levin is the guy with the micro penis. I mean, Mark Levin is literally the guy who has been a biggest proponent of like the war in Palestine and the war in Middle East. He's been the one actually doing it, and that's why we accumulatively actually believe that he's got a micro penis. Okay, what is Jalal saying? No debate. You have to accept Muhammad Sallallahu as the last prophet. Also, new Muslims are the same, maybe a little bit different in marhabas. By the way, Jalal. Okay, let's put the debate of like Ahmadi Muslims to rest. We don't want to talk about it right now. Let's talk about the topic of like, do Sunni Muslims actually believe that a person who's apostate who actually leaves Islam should be put to death? Do you actually believe that? Do you think all of the Sunni Muslims actually believe that? Because I have Sunni friends who actually don't believe it. A lot of Sunni friends, and from the ahadith and from the instances of like the Prophet himself, and from the other scholars, we actually do find examples where there were people who were actually turned to like different sects. I'm pretty sure there were Muslims who actually left Islam, who actually turned to Christianity or like Jews, but they were not killed. If everybody cumulatively actually believed in this would have been implemented in the Islamic State, but it wasn't. The peaceful explanation is more than nobody believed it until a few decades ago. Before then, everyone believed the violent explanation. No, Joey, I don't agree with this. I don't think so. I'm saying even like 1400 years ago, people didn't actually, not everybody actually believed in that. Because if they did believe in the prophethood era, like they had the power, they had control of the Arab countries. You know, in the era of Umar, that's the second caliph of Islam, they invaded most of the Middle East. They even had the African countries. Like Arab Empire was big. He had all the power. If he wanted to slaughter people, he could have killed a lot of people. But there were Muslims that were actually turning into Jews, and they were turning into like Christians, leaving their faith as well. But he didn't kill anyone. The world had more wars back then, Joy. Whole Palestine is free and Israel is free from Satan. Yeah, Joey, we agree on this one. No debate. You have to accept Muhammad as the last prophet, and it's more bloody. It's not what the Islam text teaches. It doesn't matter what individuals believe. The text says it. This was interesting, lol. And for the record, it's hard. Conservative Christians, thanks. Have a good night. Give me evidence then. Um, Carol, look at the Assyrian church. They went from tens of millions to only 400,000 today due to Islamic persecution. Dude, if the Islamic persecution actually happened and there were forced conversions, I'm completely against it, by the way. And I'm not saying that didn't happen. I mean, this is something maybe I can look at as like I can take it as like an assignment and maybe have a read on the Assyrian church tomorrow. Maybe I can read more about it and then maybe discuss it in the tomorrow stream. But yeah, if this actually happened, I wouldn't be in favor of it. Well, one thing I like about Hamid is he always comes with the facts. He's so quick with the stats. He's always pulling up the stats on Google, like with the cousin marriage, like with the child consensual age. Hamid has always been able to do that. Okay, guys, thanks for the debate. Thanks for pulling up. If you can actually subscribe to my channel, it would be great. I'll keep posting the comment. If you guys like the MMA content, this channel would be great for you. I was doing the political stream today, but mostly I'm doing the MMA stuff, like the martial arts and stuff. But yeah, thanks for popping in. I've got work tomorrow. I got to wake up early in the morning as well, and I'm already very late right now. So I'm gonna just go to sleep. But that's amazing. But yeah, Joey, thanks for your references as well. I had the chance to actually look up on the laptop and actually do a better research, so it's addition to my knowledge as well at the same time. Even though you are pretty critical, Joey, but it was good. It was a good conversation. After the conversation, they didn't force people to convert. If they left Islam, they were under Muslim ruler after conquering a land. They didn't force people to. Okay, have a good one, guys. Bye, 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 everyone. Thanks. Yeah, Joey, thanks for that. Next time.